Hey, so in my article, smart sport fans factors influencing sport consumption on smartphones, really looked into the modern, and when I say modern, like this new change in technology, and obviously we've seen the change in computers and statistics and how fans engage, but this is talking about directly social media, the ability to have it in your hand at all seconds of the day at any time, and how this is impacting uh, people's relationships with each other and with other fans, fans with fans, fans with the team, fans with ownership, and players themselves, and kind of all of those things that the added levels of social media that smartphones have allowed people to be capable of. So obviously, we have our smartphones with us 24/7. Sport fans expect to be able to consume the content anywhere, anytime, on any screen. So obviously, even if it's not the full game, you're seeing highlights, you're catching up to date stats, scores, breaking news, videos, news breaks, news clips, all that type of stuff. And so, based on previous studies, it said 30% of sports fans stream live sports on their smartphones or tablets. So, obviously, this is a number that started at zero and has incredibly increased at drastic rates each year. We see how platforms such as Fox or CBS and their ownership companies like Fox Sports Southwest, Prime Ticket, Bally Sports, along with the big dogs like ESPN and stuff like that, are adding easy components. Boom, stream it right on your phone. ESPN has ESPN Plus, where you can watch thousands of games throughout the year of all different sports, from women's lacrosse in college to professional, bowling or whatever it is, from college baseball and international soccer and everything in between. So definitely has a big impact on the games and people's ability to be in touch with the sports itself. And it's allowed for a lot more information to get out about a lot of other sports. Obviously, women's basketball gets a lot of attention recently, but sports like lacrosse or field hockey, or even like a curling in the Olympics. Women's snowboarding with Chloe Kim. It's easy to say they're big and famous, but it's hard to put into context how important social media and all of those different elements are. So they're looking at how professional sports fans use mobile phones to learn about their teams, to connect with others, and how such behaviors affect the fan loyalty. So looking at the lit review and theoretical framework, I kind of just showed like the six hypotheses. Like five has a few parts, but just the main six, and kind of highlighted and bolded the main factors of each. Like the first one showed all the different entertainment factors of social media, and just these positively correlated with sports consumption on smartphones. Two and three were whether it's positively or negatively correlated with the sports consumption and fan loyalty. Four was social sports activity participation is possibly correlated with sport consumption on smartphones, and then six was the main focus, and this was social media use for sports is positively correlated with sports consumption on smartphones. It is likely that the consumption of sports on different media platforms is likely to be related with the consumption of sports on smartphones. So, pretty much what it's saying is that people who are engaged on their phone are going to be more engaged in the team, and vice versa. It is a common factor that these people, who love their team, are going to seek places to gather more information. And one that is incredibly easy to do so is social media. You don't have to type in, you don't have to search most of the time, you just have to refresh and scroll. So, when looking at the methods, they used an online survey was conducted, and so they used the National Consumer Panel managed by a leading marketing research firm, and so they just kind of gave them feedback on like the best survey to kind of use and like what would make them most successful. Um, Only subjects who regularly watch, read, or listen to sports related content were included. So like they wanted to see how these fans they were already fans. Their loyalty was affected by the social media use, and whether it changed, stayed the same, increase, decrease, everywhere in between. And then adults in the U.S. representative of the population. So obviously it says, age, gender, geography. So mixing it up by different locations, different sports, different people, different genders, different ages, different areas of life, different people using different platforms of social media, and everything that comes with those geographical or demographic differences. So they distributed the survey in 2016, got a total of 646, 31 were incomplete, so 615 total responses were sent back. So when looking at the results, 2 multiple regression models were analyzed. The first model tested how sport motivators and fan behavior factors influence smartphone use for sports, and then the acquisition of knowledge positively influenced the use of smartphones for sports. Social sports participation were significant predictors of smartphone use in this model as well. So obviously, people who are very engaged, people who were looking for information, used all their information before social media, went to social media to gather more. They're engaged with their team, the content, the game itself, and kind of everywhere in between. The second model comprised of media use factors, and this model was statistically significant. Social media following, social media liking, fantasy sports, streaming videos, offline radios, all the extra stuff that we talk about. You go to the extra podcasts, you go to the extra videos, you try and find that next step, that next level that can take your fandom just because you engage it. You want to intervene, you want to have that engagement. So therefore, hypothesis 6 was supported. So kind of lastly, wrapping up, just obviously they talked about in there's there's a limited number of these studies. It's social media, it's so new, and then obviously the studies with them it's all based on like social media. Social media now we're trickling into the fan engagement, sports. You got to think there's drama, movies, plays, musicals, concerts, sporting events, just meetings and public speakings, TED Talks, all those type of things, political meetings, and everyone who's looking to use social media to take them to the next level. So, these studies start to grow, it's going to be a lot easier to see where people's motivations are at, the main factors that keep people influenced, and the different type of things that will help push them, their business, their marketing strategy, their fan loyalty, whether it's recruiting players because of that, or the income that they bring in, or their connection to the city, whatever the different things that those teams are trying to accomplish, they're going to be able to hone in on that, focus on that, and hopefully achieve that with future better studies and focus on this. So obviously, media factors seem to play a very, very significant role in people's fandom. People look for stuff. They want to see videos. They want to hear content. They want to hear the players, the coaches, and this is obviously a result of smartphones and social media. So with this being said, it is very significant. It's incredibly important. People are incredibly active, not so much physically, but mentally looking for that stimulation in terms of fan support and fandom. So just being able to provide this for them through smartphones is simple, but doing it accurately or efficiently would be able to take that business to the next model, that next step, that next level. And then here's the source for the article. Thanks.